Hello, everyone, and welcome to one of the first casted games of Challenger League. We have the Canadian division tonight. I am Crow. I'm joined by my wonderful co-caster, Loaf.
Hey.
And fortunately, Faceit was kind enough to give us permission to cast these matches. Now,
Yeah.
you are watching it on a VOD on YouTube. This is not live streamed, but it's uploaded to the Rainbow Six Esports channel. We've got PDHM versus Axios, and this is the battle for second and third place in their group.
Yeah. It's looking like it's gonna be an interesting match tonight. Both these teams sit at 1-1, and yeah, they look pretty evenly matched going into this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the map bans and get a look at what maps we'll be playing tonight. So our first map tonight will be Oregon. Axios will be starting on defense. And our second map will be Consulate with PDHM starting on defense. And our final decider map will be Cafe. All these are pretty common maps that have started rotating their way back into the competitive meta. Oregon, as well, being a new map, has seen a lot more play than we see for most new maps.
Yeah, Oregon really came in full swing, way more than Theme Park. Theme Park took it took teams a while to get acclimated to that, but Oregon came out. I think because it's a rework of an old competitive map, right?
Mm-hmm.
Theme Park isn't a rework, but it was never in comp. Oregon was. A lot of what you see on Oregon still kind of remains the same. But like you said, this match should be close. Both teams 1-1. Um, they each have a loss. PDHM lost 2-1 to Honor, whereas Axios also lost to Honor, except 2-0. PDHM's one win is 2-1 against Valors, and Axios also took a 2-1 against Valor. So both winning against the same team and losing against the same team.
Yeah. So
that should be interesting.
yeah, definitely. It looks so far like this is going to be, from what we can tell so far, this looks to be a pretty even match. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where this goes as well. So the only difference I think that we need to talk about is PDHM is subbing in tonight in place of Wix. We have Japan subbing in for them. Otherwise, the Axios roster is all the same. And yeah, it looks like we are just about ready to get into this. We're waiting for ours from both these teams. Yeah.
And turns out Axios is starting on attack. Curiously enough, apparently there was a miscommunication. Something was lost in translation. It's actually Axios starting on attack. But like you said, PDHM having that sub of Japan. So I was talking with some of the teams earlier just to get some background on these teams, as I don't believe these teams have really competed in a lot of stuff outside of CACL. I know they really don't know much about each other. I was talking to both of them. I was like, oh, do you guys, have any predictions to what maps you're going to be going to? PDHM was like, no clue. We're just going to try to get our comfort picks, which it seems like Oregon might be. Axios, actually, the one map that they were confident in was going to be Clubhouse, but they themselves actually banned it out, interestingly enough.
Yeah,
But,
they had the choice between Cafe and Clubhouse, and they decided to ban out Clubhouse despite saying that they were fully expecting to play it.
Yeah, and Japan subbing in for Wix. Wix is one of their entries. He typically plays flex on attack and is one of the hard roamers on defense. So I'm thinking Japan is probably going to be one of those subs where you just kind of let him cut loose. You're not going to have him on a hard support role. You're just going to have him, go and try and kill. And we are going to get right into the game. Again, map 1 is going to be Oregon, PDHM's pick. And it's interesting that Axios, again, because this is PDHM's pick, Axios get to choose what side they start on, and they're going to choose attack on what has been so far throughout Pro League as a very, very defensive-sided map.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting, and we see a lot of the times that newer maps that are in the rotation, they always end up leaning more defender-sided as they're newer maps, and it feels generally with this game, it tends to be a little bit easier to start off on the defense. But I don't know. Axios seems like they have a plan going into this, and they themselves said that they were a little bit more of a structured team when it came to how they played their game, so this may also factor into it.
Yeah, and Thatcher's going to get banned first. Very average ban. Maverick, the combo as well. So it's going to be really difficult to get all that utility off the walls and the like. But Wamai ban is interesting. Wamai we see a lot of times when a team has a dependency on Jaeger and just doesn't want to have to deal with the full brunt of the utility soak meta. Wamai also being very, very popular on Oregon, especially down in the basement. You're no longer going to have to deal with, you know, a Wamai holding a shield and blue tarps. That's something very hard to get rid of. And Mira is going to be the next ban. And, you know, everyone's talked about it, but the advent of the permaban of Echo, right? Now that Echo's permaban, it's freed up so many other options. I think, you know, seeing Wamai be banned, seeing Mute be banned, Goyo banned, stuff like that. It's really nice to see. I feel like the game's gotten a lot more interesting without him, unfortunately.
Yeah, it definitely it allows for more variety, and I really enjoy seeing that because my previous days of casting comp, you could pretty much predict every single operator ban. There was no real shift in what you do. You might see a shift map to map, but here with Echo Permaband, it allows for a lot of change. So already it looks like we're going to be going to Meeting Hall Kitchen as our first site.
Yeah, interestingly enough, you know, with most of the teams we talk to, top site still pretty good, bottom site still pretty good. The middle floor sites, out of everyone I've talked to, they're pretty much in agreement that the middle floor sites have not really been strengthened all that much with the rework of Oregon. So PDHM are going to take that offsite first. We almost always see meeting dining rather than dining kitchen. Again, because with dining, all you got to do is take back tower. But it's kind of a similar thing with meeting. All you got to do is take big tower. And what we see is a big tower take, make sure attic is clear, open stage wall, and plant. And that's done and dusted. So, I mean, if PDHM can get the win on the offsite first, that's a huge advantage. It frees them up. It gives them a lot more flexibility on their next bomb sites, because you typically, you know, you're planning to lose the offsite anyway. It's just kind of, you know, if you can get this early leg up, then that's all the better for your coming defenses.
Yeah. Japan is going to be the one to watch here in Big Tower, as it looks like Axios is focusing very, very heavily on this Big Tower take you've got. It looks like Challenger going up on the rappel. Varas looks like he may be going there as well as Tom, and Big Sexy looking to enter in down below. So if they can deal with Japan very, very quickly, then Big Tower will be theirs. And it looks like he's already looking to go ahead and rotate off.
Yeah, you said it. You know, deal with him very quickly. 30 seconds in, and he has bounced. He doesn't want to deal with that. The Big Tower take has been something that's, you know, very common since Oregon came out, but it's Nice Hacks, who I believe just ran up to the meeting. Yeah, he just swung the meeting hall, and he'll take out Varas very quickly, and that's your spearhead of the Ashdown. Not the biggest loss in hindsight, but we do see, you know, with the advent of the utility soak meta, a lot more Ashes actually using their utility, which is, you know, it's nice to see. The no-brain Ash main actually has to do something for the team, but you do have the Zofia, you do have the nades of the sledge, so you have plenty to go around, but still, it's a gun off the board for PDHM.
Yeah, and that is also their primary entry, so now Ash is going to be the main spearhead, now taking that up with the Zofia. He's going to be the main force here. C4 sails up, will hit Ashes just a little bit, but not going to be quite enough for him to be taken off the board just yet. Most of his utility still in his pocket there with his lifeline, so he still has plenty of stuff to burn the utility and potentially flush out anyone that's sitting up here trying to deny this push.
And there's the soft destruction down into attic just to get some extra sight lines in meeting, as Nice Hacks, who got the kill earlier, will go down. The nade looking to clean up, and it will. The refrag coming in very late, but it's on the smoke. Ash for smoke, especially with a minute starting to dwindle down. You've lost all that delay from Nice Hacks. That is super unfortunate for PDHM. Not the pick you want to give up this early into the round, as he's one of those operators that gets stronger the longer the round progresses. Elsist as well, taking a long angle with the SMG-11, is going to go down and finished off again by an 8 from Challenger, and with the gun, he'll pick up a quad as he gets headless. A 1 versus 4 for Japan. All of a sudden, the even man count that we had held so frequently throughout this round suddenly slips away, and off the back of Challenger, it's 35 seconds left, and Axios are in a fantastic position. Japan has to break through this barricade to try and get back inside the B site, but the A site is all but forfeited. Interestingly enough, plant not going down, but as I say that, there's Tom. He'll start getting that diffuser planted. There's crossfires being held everywhere. Curiously, it's actually by split is where the plant is going to go down, not by the stage, but there's a castle barricade stopping Japan from beating the people in lobby. The castle being used against the defense at this point, and post-plant positions are allowed to slip away for Axios. Japan writhing in the wind, it seems. He doesn't really know where to look. He'll start peeking upstairs as he heard the breaching charge from earlier, but he'll get killed eventually from split, and Challenger is going to start off round 1 with a bang for Axios with a very well done ace.
Yeah, what an incredible way to start off the first casted match of CACL here. This is just absolutely incredible. I mean, Challenger basically, as the Sledge, I mean, he's noted as the flex here for Axios, and it seems almost, despite Ashes being that secondary entry, he seemed to almost take up that role as soon as Varos was off the board at the hands of Nice Hacks, and seeing him take up that role and play it so very well, I mean, really, really worked. The Sledge being brought in there as just extra utility, try and get some verticality on the site, but it didn't seem to be needed whatsoever.
Yeah, and they're gonna try meeting again. Now, it is the weaker site, and they're gonna try it again. I don't entirely disagree with this. I don't think it was the strategy that fell apart, because we could see during the mid-round, after the stage wall was opened and they lost their smoke, PDHM peaked. They peaked stage right into the line of fire of Challenger, and they lost their swings. When you're wide swinging like that and trying to take the initiative as the defense, you have to be winning those. And they just gave up pick by pick by pick to Challenger. He was winning his ones, cleaning 2 up with the nades, using that utility very well.
Yeah.
And they were all forfeit to the Sledge. So they're going to switch some things up, though. This time bringing a Kaid and a Mozzie to combo with the Mute, maybe denying a little more of that intel. Maybe they thought Challenger was playing well off teammates' calls. That's also very possible. He was getting maybe info on the swings before they came, and that's how he was able to shut them down so effectively. But you can see PDHM as well. Before we had Japan playing in T3, a big tower with a rotate in the attic. And this time, William is just going to completely lock that off and electroclaw it to boot.
Yeah, taking that off is going to make things a little bit more difficult for Axios because they were able to get a lot of vertical control off of Attic being completely and totally soft. So we'll see how Axios really adapts to that. It looks like they've actually gone for a small tower take here instead of pushing very hard through big tower, noting the Attic was completely and totally sealed off here.
And I believe that was the smoke of Nice Hacks. Again, playing pretty aggressively. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. Nice Hacks, yes, he got the opening pick, but he was refragged very quickly. The player that could have locked off stage, prevented Challenger from pushing in, went down, and he's playing very aggro again, and this time against an Ashe. A lot of the time, an Ashe is going to win that gunfight, and even if Nice Hacks wins, it's the risk you're taking, right? It's not about whether he wins or loses, it's about what you're willing to give up to try and take that fight. Kaid was dealt a little bit of damage, I believe, from below by one of the nades of Challenger, as here's just the jump in from the Ashe, and he'll win the fight. Varas onto William, Ashes onto Headless as well. There's another player upstairs, but he'll fall to Ashes, and Sexy onto Japan. And again, even man count throughout half the round, and Axios blitz the upper floor, kill everyone, and there it is, a flawless round as Nice Hacks will try to wide swing Varas, and Axios take round number 2 just as dominantly, in fact, even more so as round number 1.
So far, this is, unless PDHM really start getting themselves on their feet here, this is not looking good. Two really nice rounds coming out for them. An ace to start out, and then a flawless round immediately after. They got to start changing things up. Now, another thing to mention, they have been going to the offsite twice now. They're going to switch it up. They're going to be heading up to Dorm's main hall now. This is potentially the change they need. They're going to the offsite first. They're going to someone that's considered the weakest site out of all of them. I'm hoping the shift is going to be enough. We do see Japan there on the pulse. I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm thinking he's probably going to be playing downstairs in showers with that, looking for the jump in on the big window. And we'll see if Axios knows how to deal with this. They don't have an IQ, but if they're able to drone enough, I think that it really won't be as much of an issue.
I really hope this is the change they need. We both always echo the sentiment, as so many other casters do, of if you're losing the same bomb site twice and you're losing it handedly, don't go there 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, unless they have to, they should give up on meeting at this point. PDHM is just not working out. The top floor hold that time, they tried to switch it up and it just got destroyed by Axios, and it's been very well done for them. Their only death throughout 2 rounds has been Varas, and he redeemed himself in the last, being that spearhead through the big window, getting 2 picks, or getting the first pick and then getting the last. So Dorms, hopefully a more advantageous site is what PDHM needs. They're going to bring a Maestro and a Valkyrie and a Pulse this time. And they've gone away from the denial and a little more towards the intel, which I think can definitely be good because, with the way PDHM have been playing, if you're going to swing people, you definitely want intel on where they're at and not just blind face peeking everything.
Exactly. And the same way with Axios is they seem to be playing very aggressive. They exactly what they said when we were gathering some information about them. They said they were a mix of a very aggro team as well as a structured team, a hybrid of sorts. And we're seeing that aggro side really, really show out here, as well as the intel gathering, as we saw Ashes there droning ahead just inside of the big window here, looking and making sure Big Sexy was clear, if needed be, to jump in.
That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah.
I love it. The Hibana. But Ross below could be susceptible to that player right above him. I believe that's the Maestro of Elsist. 1 or 2 bullets to Ross will bring him down, and he's just on the cusp. But no! Elsist looks away just as Varas exposes him. That will also forfeit the breach, but the drone coming out might just bait the pulse, but no, Japan catches Varas, and there we go. Opening pick over to the side of PDHM. Now, this is what they got on round 1. Remember, Varas was also the player to go down first in round number 1, but that didn't really have any impact on their performance at all. They then, challenger aced. That's not something you can really rely on, but still, it just shows the fact that, maybe they don't really need that spearhead. Maybe everyone else on the team has that gun skill to back up the team after their spearhead has fallen. But there's Tom already going for the plant. Smoke bolts out. Big Sexy onto William, and through the smoke, there's one for challenger. Big Sexy with another 2 versus 4 as Tom will resume the plant. Japan could probably be down below playing for a C4, but no, he's not going to use it. Here's a flank from Nice Hacks, though. He'll get 1, he'll get 2, collecting the planter as well as one of the covers. We're back to even man count, but it's post-plant. Ashes takes out Japan, and it's all the Jaeger alone. Pre-firing White Stairs will down Ashes, but remember, it's the Zofia. She can pick herself back up, and it looks like the Jaeger might know this. He needs to find the next kill soon, but no, he'll die in the 1v1, or no, it was actually Ashes from White Stairs. The withstand I was just talking about comes to fruition as he picks himself back up and just hip fires the Jaeger dead. And Axios, though, there was a very nice flank from PDHM. The attackers will still take 3 in a row off a very well-played post plant.
Yeah, it came very, very close there. PDHM, I think they played that post plant well, but I think not finishing off Ashes there was what really, really hurt Nice Hacks. He came very, very close to taking down, I believe that was Tom that was left up. Or no, Big Sexy, my mistake. But yeah, came very, very close, but unfortunately not finishing off the Zofia, going to hurt him in the end. And now we're going to head back to Dorm's main hall again. Hopefully, I think PDHM know they came very, very close. They're bringing the mute as well as the cave, trying to deny as much utility as they can, because once Tom was able to open up the wall there from Master Bedroom Closet, I mean, it was over and Axios had a free plant. So we'll see if that extra intel gadget denial ends up helping PDHM, or if the same ends up happening and Axios is just able to punch right through their defenses, as they've been able to do just about every single round now.
And I really got a question, right? After Japan gets that opening kill on Varas, who gets unfortunately caught droning, Japan scurries away, right? He's like, crap, I might get refragged, I gotta go hide. I'm the pulse, I'm very important to this team. She is. But he was abandoned. Axios were just like, whatever, we don't care, let's just go for the site push. Push came to shove, Capital bolts out, frags in the site, Tom goes for a plant. Where's the C4? Your pulse. Your pulse below, that's what you're playing for. Sure, there was still a bit of time left on the board, but still, you take out a body. And then with that flank, let's say that flank from Nice Hacks comes to fruition, it's a 2-on-1 rather than an even 2-on-2. So that was a little confusing from Japan. I definitely want to see him use his utility a little better. It looked like he was using his intel pretty well, I guess. But man, that's C4. That's what you're playing for, and it just wasn't there for PDHM, as Nice Hacks will get pre-fired through the white window, nearly finished off. But there's Japan again with an opening frag and a nice pre-fire from Nice Hacks onto Ashes, and there we go. Varas will yet again beat the opening pick, but Ashes soon follows, and that's 2 the way of PDHM.
Yeah, already. I think this is the best advantage that they have had throughout this entire match, and we'll see if this ends up coming to their favor. That's your 2 entries are now gone. You've also lost the IQ, and with how much utility is on the board to deny the hard breach, that could really hurt Axios. It's going to force them to go through doorways rather than getting the hard breach down like it seems like they want to. And already, Challenger seems to be making that adjustment, moving into trophy room, holding the holding the swing over from Armory so that he can make the switch on in. Big there going to be able to take down Japan there for the refrag, though, and that is your pulse off the board.
Yeah, right. I mean, Ashes and Varas, right? They've had explosive entries onto the top floor. They've really opened things up for their team, but we got to remember, Big Sexy and Challenger they're no slouches themselves.
Absolutely.
They have been gunning on those, I guess you could technically call them supportive roles, you know, Hibana and Capitao. There we go. Another kill for Big. 2 frags on the Hibana, and he'll even things out. Unfortunately, he will lose a lot of HP for it, but it looks like a C4 coming out is going to miss. Challenger darts away just in time, and a minute left on the board. PDHM still have quite a bit of time to hold out. Axios still have the manpower and the utility to get these walls open. It looks like they'll try and take the player out of Attic first, but no, he'll put the X-Kairos launcher away. Here's the C4, but it'll actually get, I believe, shot by the Valkyrie, I think it was. And a bit of a standstill. It looks like there might be, I think there's a mute jammer on the master wall, and Axios doesn't really look like they know what to do about it, so they'll just opt to go for a big window push. There's going to be a firebolt sent out by Challenger. Nothing coming just yet from the big window as Sexy is lobbing flashbangs and utility in, and nothing really came of that.
Yeah, they're kind of stalling out now. It seems like their hard breach came to it, but it looks like the smoke's coming out here from Challenger are going to indicate a little bit of a push coming in as Sexy and Tom look to go ahead and make the push in through Trophy. They'll look for the swing there from Attic. They'll get one there onto Headless. William finds one onto Challenger, though, but immediately Big is able to take down William, and from the rotate hole, that'll actually be Elsa able to take down Big Sexy. Tom gets the plant down, looks for the swing, and he gets the kill. Axios take round number 4 in a last-second clutch there from Tom after he gets the plant.
Dog, how do you whiff that? You got a shotgun, man. You got to hit those. Okay.
I think the crouching there of Tom was able to just get him away from that buckshot, and ooh, so close.
Because they had stalled out for so long. That was a really good 2 opening picks for PDHM, because not only are those your spearheads gone, those are your entries gone, but that's the IQ. That's the person who's going to try and go below and, you know, get the utility off the wall and stuff like that. So Axios were stuck. They couldn't get Master Wall open. There was either an electrical on it or a jammer on it or whatever. So they try for a pinch, Challenger on big window, 2 pushing from where the hunting side is. Tom wins the fight against the Valkyrie, which is okay. Whatever. Challenger dies too. You're back to an even 2-on-2, but Kaid, ignorant of the angle being held by Big gets a free frag. I don't know. If William had been a little more aware of the push coming from the other side, because he already takes out the big window player, right? The call from the Valkyrie should have been last 2 pushing Trophy or 2 pushing Trophy. But William still had his back turned out for a free frag by Big Sexy. And again, a good refrag at least by Elsist, you know, able to get the down on the Hibana, but you gotta hit that shotgun shot, man.
Yeah.
Like, even then, right? He's in the corner. You know he's in that corner. If he doesn't walk away from that corner in your line of sight, he's got to vault over the table. Vaulting is a very loud sound cue, and he's got to have his back turned for it. Yeah. I don't get why he didn't just hit the deck.
Yeah.
Right?
I think probably... It looks like they've actually made an adjustment here. So William has opened up the rotate there in between the main site and that games room there. And Japan actually playing a little bit differently, not playing on the first floor as he normally has, and actually playing down in Laundry, but he is going to be droned out there. It's going to give away his position very quickly. So it's going to be forced to rotate off. That could have been very interesting if he'd been able to stay there, but unfortunately, the good drone work coming out from Axios going to force him off that and force him to rotate back up through Big Tower.
Man. 4 rounds in a row from Axios.
Yeah, so and all of them have been kill ending rounds. It's been they've been able to get the plant down twice now as well, or 3 times. My mistake.
And I think something even more incriminating for PDHM is that Axios are on the attack, right? This is on the attack with a Maverick Thatcher ban. And PDHM are bringing wall denial. They're bringing the mute. They're bringing the Kaid. A flank from Big Tower, from Varas, will fell Japan, and that's your pulse dead. That's a big opening pick. William at least refrags Big Sexy for Big Sexy's actually first death of the entire game, as Ashes refrags Headless. So, yeah, you take out Big Sexy, but you lose 2 in the process. You lose the pulse So all that info gone, and you lose all the goo mines on the Legion. At least Nice Hacks is there with 1, Nice Hacks there with 2, as he and Ashes actually trade back to even man count. But I still gotta say, right? Yes, you've got 2 C4s on the side of PDHM, but you've still got all the utility of the Capitao and over a minute left for Axios. This might be even, but they do have the breach open. I think that's another very important change from last round. Axios are still looking pretty good.
Yeah, so far they are. So Elsa's sitting back here over on A chassis, and William sitting over near attic. This is a good cross they're holding. This is a very good cross they're holding, and they can prevent anyone from coming in from the breach, and as well as any push from Trophy, they can really stifle that very quickly.
It can be stopped by the Capitao. As we're seeing, Challenger sending his utility out. William is going to get very lit up, but he'll still find the C4 on Tom. The push not working out. Oh, this Mute actually peeking out a little bit, lit up by Challenger, but Challenger's start of utility save 1 smoke bolt, and the pixel angle being held by Elsist. PDHM will finally, after 4 rounds, take their first defense. Ooh, that was a little cheeky angle by Elsist. Locking out the 2v2 on site. Axios had the utility, but I don't think they took full advantage of it. The firebolts were placed pretty well, but they couldn't stop the C4. He didn't send the last smoke out either. And those frags downstairs by Nice Hacks, I feel that double from him was the big round changer.
Absolutely, yeah. Taking down the 2 entry players very, very quickly has seemed to... It's helped PDHM. Axios has been able to come back from it in the past, but I think that was the big turning point during that round. And something I've just noticed so far, Varas has been involved in every single opening fight in all 5 rounds. It's just something interesting I've noticed so far.
Yeah, he's 2-3 right now. He finally got revenge. He finally got revenge on Japan last round, as he has died to Japan the 2 rounds prior. And they, we do, again, echo the sentiment of maybe you shouldn't go to the same site 3 times after losing it twice. But
it worked.
PDHM did. It didn't work. I think the constant shifting of how they play, because a lot of times, too, the reason why we say that is a lot of teams will do almost the same thing.
Yeah.
PDHM brought a lot of the same tools, but they completely changed it up. Instead of just sticking Japan downstairs, they had Japan, they had Nice Hacks, they had Headless, they had a much more roam presence. And it looked like it was going the way of Axios with those opening picks, but again, Nice Hacks really stepping up there to put things back in the favor of his team, and then well played by the anchors of PDHM. Good C4 as well by William.
Yeah, and so far that is something I've liked to see from PDHM, is that they aren't just very stagnant. They may stay the same site, but they aren't stagnant in how they play it. They'll change it around, and they'll see, okay, how can we make this work? And they were able to do that last round. They finally found the way they did it. Now, it may have come too late, as they're now down 4-1 on their defensive half as well on their map pick. So we'll see how it ends up going, but Varas here looking to go ahead and make the entry into Freezer the drone, going ahead and preceding him. Probably going to spot out the 1 player sitting inside there, which I believe is Nice Hacks from the outline.
I couldn't really tell you, but he was challenging whoever it was. No, it was actually Japan. Japan was challenging pretty aggressively up on the freezer stairs before the drone came, so I'm happy that he's fallen back. Again, he is the Legion. He is a good operator. Like the smoke, gets more powerful as the round progresses, as he regenerates more goo mines very slowly, similarly to Wamai. And he's going to be hopefully playing a little bit passively. Actually, he's just going to chuck a goo mine out towards the Ash, so I mean, she'll just be able to shoot that out, but there's a thermite charge going off from Tom. He'll open the freezer hatch. So Japan now just a little bit more exposed to the attackers upstairs. Flashes coming out to clear any ADSs that might be protecting that shield that Varas will go ahead and take out, but there's a cross angle over by Laundry, opened up in a freezer. Varas very aware of this, nearly sees, I believe that's William on the Jaeger peek out. So Varas is just going to keep holding this angle while the rest of his team goes to work on Laundry. Now, this is something we've seen from Oregon. It started out completely as back takes, almost 100% of the time, but teams have started to get more confident with Laundry takes. I think it's interesting to see, as it is a much smaller site than it used to be, but there, William using that angle, he'll get the opening 2 frags. That's what won PDHM the last round, and that might very well be what wins them this round. Ashes is there to respond and say no, as he takes out Elsis, but still, man count disadvantage for Axios.
Yeah, already, and that's one of your main hard breachers off the board as well. Tom and his utility has seen so much impact there, as we see Big Sexy take down Nice Hacks. Ashes with a double kill finds one onto William, but Japan finds one back on a challenger to even things out here. And that's your Capitao down as well, as Big Sexy swings it out, gets a double as well. It's 2 kills each for the 2 remaining members of Axios, with 1 health remaining on Big Sexy, and Ashes just below 25.
What?
And there comes the swing from Ashes to take down Japan and finish out the half there. Axios take it now 5-1.
That is so unlucky for Japan.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he would have died to the pre-fire there anyway, but at least he may have had a fighting chance. Yikes. Oh, he looked away at the wrong time, and as you can see, 4 in a row by Axios. Finally a response from PDHM, but Axios are quick to quell it. Everyone being off of eliminations. We have had 2-3 plants so far, all by Tom. Tom really getting the bomb down. He's really dedicated to the cause. We've seen at least an attempt every round except the last, where he unfortunately was the opening pick. Very, very good play of the angle opened up by William. And there we go. Yet again, different players, same operators, the Jaeger stepping up and turning that round on its head for the defense. But unfortunately, after that, right, they were so distracted by those guys in Freezer, everyone lost their fights to the Laundry push. And that's what allowed Big Sexy to get in, get a kill, caught the Goyo mid C4 throw. Unfortunately for I don't remember who that was. I think it was
Elsis, I believe. It was Elsis or Headless.
Someone, one of those two, unfortunately got caught mid C4 throw. And then I think even if Japan wins that first fight, we saw Big Sexy was very close behind on the pinch. And that was just unfortunate. 5-1, like you said, 5-1 for Axios off their attack. Not only is any 5-1 half extremely dominant, but it was on the typically disadvantageous side. But now we'll see if PDHM are unfortunately not, don't have as much prowess on this map as maybe they thought they were, or we could just be seeing a very defender-sided or very attacker-sided Oregon.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, we've seen these shifts happen before on maps. It's not entirely unheard of. So this may just be one of the cases where the map just is attacker-sided based on the playstyles of these two teams. PDHM and Axios have both said that they are very aggressive teams, and so far we're definitely seeing that from the side of Axios, and now it's time for PDHM to really prove that. And we did still see it on the side of their defense as well, as they were swinging a lot, and we already see them opening up the construction wall here, and as well the B-site wall, as they're looking to get very aggressive and make a early round push, it seems like.
Yeah, very quick so far from PDHM. Something else that they're bringing that Axios wasn't is the Nomad and the Kali. So you get that high-powered sniper rifle. You really got to be on top of your shots if you want to make that work. But that secondary SMG, as highlighted here by Elsis, is no slouch of its own. Big Sexy goes down, a very influential player for Axios so far, down very early. Another pick by Headless before Varas is there with the freezer angle to trade him back. Nice Hacks will tack on Ashes, though, and we're in a 4 versus 2. Make it a 4 versus 0 as Elsis and William pounce on the last 2 remaining defenders, and PDHM take a very swift execute on the Laundry.
Yeah, that is one of the fastest rounds I've seen so far, and PDHM, again, I was talking about how we hadn't really seen them be as aggressive on defense, and now that they've switched over to attack, we're seeing that turn completely on its head.
Wow. That was dominant, too.
Absolutely.
So, hey, maybe it is just an attacker-sided Oregon.
Absolutely.
But wow, they were fast. That was like lightning. They had opened the wall quickly. It looked like they knew where everyone was playing. And with the exception of that one refrag by Varas was the kite, I think?
Yes.
That one refrag by Varas inside of Freezer. I mean, Headless had just gotten a kill anyway, so you can't really blame him for getting traded. I mean, that was impressive by PDHM, and I think it's definitely showing they have signs of life after getting pummeled on their defense. It's definitely a good sign. It makes me hopeful that maybe we'll get a closely contested game after all, which with how that attack went. Now Axios are going to go down there again, bringing a very similar lineup, only trading off the Kaid for the Bandit, and I think it's because it is difficult, but you can trick against a Kali.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. We've seen it done before. You just got to be very, very quick when it comes down to it.
5 seconds to insertion.
Right now, we're seeing pretty much a similar setup so far. Varos here
Locate and defuse a bomb.
being really the only change factor. Everything else looks to be about the same. And the same coming out from PDHM as well, as they look to be going for that blue construction take that they were taking before that was so very dominant last time. We'll see if they'll have anything this time to counter. Elsys and Headless making very quick work of those walls. Hopefully the Bandit will have some sort of impact. Varos looks to be very, very close to it. The Kali going ahead and getting onto it. Varos looking to Bandit trick, sees it coming out, and I'm not sure he'll be able to get it. No, he will not. That will be the wall going down there. The Bandit looking like it isn't going to have too much of a different impact so far.
At least, I think we can all agree the MP7 is a better gun than the AUG, so at least he's got a little bit more fragging potential, but like you said, the utility not really having any impact. They both got C4, only the Bandit's, I guess the Bandit's faster.
Yeah.
He is pretty low on HP though, already at half as the pre-fire from Japan towards the angle that I believe it was Big Sexy was playing last time. He has fallen off. The mute is, I think, all the way back towards Laundry. Elsa's holding the long angle with the Kali sniper rifle before falling off and helping his team with the push. Again, it's only been like a minute 20 and there's already Headless going for the plant. Nice hacks with beautiful cover. Finds 2 defenders swinging out. There's a third, but Japan is there to collect. Challenger refrags. Challenger gets both of them. A fantastic double from him, but there's nice hacks with his third of the round. It's Ashes in a 1v3, and he's stuck on the back stairs. And with the plant going down, and it looks like all the attackers painfully aware of that position, there we go. There's the pre-fire from the Nomad of William, and PDHM will take yet another very, very swift attacking round.
Yeah, they definitely know how to attack this site, and I think this needs to be Axios is like, okay, we cannot hold this site against them. We need to go somewhere else, and we need to try and change things up. And it looks like they will do that, as they're going to be heading up to Meeting Hall Kitchen. I think this time they're trying to wait and hold off and bring Dorns as their last site is something that they're probably the most confident on, and they want to use that to close it out. If they win Meeting Hall Kitchen, that puts them up 6-3. They head up to kids' dorms. They feel most confident on that, and they can probably close it out there, potentially.
PDHM have been very swift using that Kali effectively. And nice hacks, of course, with some amazing plant cover.
Need to locate and defuse
Yeah,
that was probably some of the best plant cover we've seen all match so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he has now joined the double-digit club. The only one so far in this match is now sitting up at 10-7. Ashes has been very, very close as well as Big Sexy and Challenger, but not quite pushing it just yet. Nice Hacks has been really been the one pushing us, preventing those roamers who were set up to rotate back in and prevent the plant or to help against the post plant from having any effect whatsoever.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, Hacks has been
5 seconds.
a power player for PDHM, to be sure.
Absolutely.
Top frag in the lobby, even though his team is down 2 points.
Yeah.
And Meeting is definitely a curious site for Axios to try and secure a map point on. We saw PDHM bringing out very early. They went there twice in a row, lost it both times. So Axios are going to say, you know what? We can go there. We're going to one-up you. We're going to take it on our first try. At least that's what they're hoping. And PDHM say, nah. No, we know how to lose this site, so we should know how to win it. And they're bringing very similar tools to what PDHM brought as well, only I think PDHM lacked a Maestro, if I recall correctly, bringing a mute instead, I think.
Yes, that is correct. And another thing as well is they seem to be echoing Axios' first strat as well, which was a very definite big tower take, as they've got 4 players moving in there with nice hacks. taking the sort of off angle and trying to get a little bit of a pinch going in as he enters in over by Garage. Sprays coming up from Japan there, making sure no one is peeking inside of the green hallway there. No one going to be peeking it just yet, though. So see what comes of this, as their next order of business is likely going to be getting open attic, and they will do that swiftly. And Headless will go ahead and make quick work of the stage wall as well, as we see Varos rotating back out into dorms, getting away from the quick push that seems to be coming out here from PDHM.
It doesn't look like PDHM are too keen on devoting a lot of resources to this top player. It looks like we're just going to have Japan upstairs cutting off Trophy, Elsist holding the long angle through attic so that they can't get angles down on the planter on stage, because with except for attic, there's not a lot of vertical control on the meeting, as Japan will get that opening frag, quickly refrag there by Ashes. But again, nice hacks, the power player for PDHM with 2 of his own, downed and finished off by the smoke, though he'll choke out, and Axios will just take things back in their favor just a little bit. 3 versus 2, but the plant will go down. Wow, what a beautiful shot by Tom, sniping the head of that player with the SMG-11, but there's Headless with a refrag, and it's all up to Tom. He'll have to hit 2 more beautiful shots if he wants to win this round in the next, say, 20 seconds. Fighting against Headless, unfortunately can't find it, but hitting the reload, exposed to the hatch. He won't see Elsis until it's too late, and PDHM will take their 3rd round in a row on the attack, looking to match the 4 in a row by Axios.
Yeah, already we're seeing... I mean, PDHM are just responding very, very quickly, and we're seeing that this is turning into what we were talking about before, an attacker-sided Oregon. I mean, they've already won their very first 3 rounds with not a single one being answered by Axios.
That was really, really well conducted control as well from PDHM. I've spoken to, if you know who Penguin is, I've spoken to Penguin, and Penguin told me he sees Oregon as a very control-based map. And PDHM had that in spades, man. They had Japan coming in from Armory to try and hold off the players from Trophy and make his entry in. You have the support of Elsist cutting off attic, taking full advantage of the long angle with the sniper rifle, and the players going for the plant with nice hacks in there by Garage and rotating around to support the planter. There was just nowhere for Axios to go. They walked into the lines of sight, and PDHM picked them off. It was very well played. Sure, Axios got some good refrags, but again, PDHM, who started things off, if you get the first kill, you're winning the trade game. And now they're creeping up to bring us to an even round count. That 5-1 lead that Axios had held at the half has slipped away, as PDHM have taken 3 attacks in a row. So it looks like we do have a very unusually attacker-sided Oregon. And PDHM only need 1 more to match Axios' 4 in a row from their attack and bring us to 5-5.
Yeah, this is interesting, because I'm seeing 2 different... As soon as the half flipped, we've seen 2 completely different teams come out. PDHM went from... Yes, they were very aggressive, but they seemed very uninformed. They were just kind of swinging to swing. And now we're seeing they're very, very coordinated. They're very, very dominant in the control that they hold over the map, where that was not the case on defense. And that's completely turned around. And Axios, a team that was very, very intel-based and could be very aggro based off of that intel, is now just falling apart at the hands of PDHM. I'm honestly astounded to see the way that this is turning out. I'm honestly wondering how this is going to end up playing out, if we're going to see PDHM continue to dominate as they have, or if Axios is going to get back on their feet and push their way ahead, as they're only 2 rounds away from taking this map.
Yeah, if Axios want to win, they need to stomp on the momentum PDHM has built. Varos will forfeit attic, though, as the breach goes down. 1:45 left in the round, and PDHM have effectively taken control of attic. Ashes, though, on the laundry stairs, just on the precipice of tussling with Nice Hacks, who again is holding Garage, just as he did the round prior. Looks like PDHM are taking this site in a very similar way. The Kali upstairs holding the long angle on attic as the breach by stage has fallen. You've got Nice Hacks on the Zofia downstairs by Garage. The only difference we've got is Japan has not rotated yet over towards Armory to make his entrance into dorms. Elsis can nearly see the feet and will hit Varaz on the kneecaps, but there we go. finally, first frag going the way of Axios. It's actually Ashes onto the Zofia before Elsist fell. So, good opening pick so far from Axios. And this, again, this could be what they need. 2 frags unanswered by the attack. Plan going down, but unfortunately Headless on that low HP, taken down by the Evil Eye. And the flank, IQ will fall. William at least refrags. William with a double kill for him, but it's still a 1 versus 3. The Nomad will have to ace if he wants this round to go his way, and there's a player at the bottom of the tower stairs, and William has no idea. He thinks there's one up. He'll get lit up, down to just about 1 HP. Now we'll finally check that angle. I believe that's Ashes on 1 HP himself, but he'll quickly dart away. He knows he doesn't need to take that fight. They've got a 2-man count advantage with only 20 seconds left. William has to make a push sooner or later. A C4 not going to land, unfortunately, from the defense. But again, it's just stalling William out more and more. The more pressure they keep on him, they don't even need to challenge. It's just that William has to be aware of it. A wide swing coming from the Maestro will finally land after both players just potato a little bit. But it's big coming out on top. And Axios, just like I said, will stomp down the momentum built by PDHM, and they will finally, after 3 long rounds, put themselves on map point.
Yeah. Ashes and Challenger getting those kills there was exactly what they needed. They finally shut down the momentum early there, and unfortunately, we will not see PDHM take the dominant 4 rounds in a row that we saw early on from Axios. As you can see, so far, these rounds have simply come down to who can be the most aggressive, as every single round has ended in kills.
Yeah. It's and it seemed to be a game of streaks, right?
Absolutely.
4 in a row for Axios, then 1-1, 3 in a row for PDHM to nearly draw us, but Axios puts a firm stop to that. Now we're going back down to Laundry though. For some reason, even though they've lost this site twice, they're avoiding dorms.
Ooh. Now that's something interesting though. This is probably the big game changer. Yeah, it's that clash there on Varas. This could absolutely be the game changer they need to stop PDHM in their tracks. Because as you've been talking about, you need to stomp on the momentum of PDHM early on if you want to win against them. Clash is the operator to do that. She is one of the most oppressive operators to play against if in the right hands. And Varas, as one of the entry players, and actually, if I go back and look, yeah, no, Axios didn't change their rules. So yeah, as one of the entry players, he's someone who can be very aggressive, and the fact that he's bringing out this clash, I think this can end very, very well. And they are going to be playing a very aggressive construction as well. They're setting up a Goyo in there. This is what you were talking about early, is in Blue Tarps you would see a Wamai played there usually. This time, it looks like a Goyo and a Clash will be replaced there in order to try and slow down PDHM.
Yeah, 2 different types of shields coming out by Axios to, like you said, slow them down. Clash is the ultimate slower, as Elsist is looking to burn out some utility. Now, of course, the Clash has to be very wary of the fact that when Clash shoots her shield, there's a very similar effect to the Zofia, and there we go, demonstrated beautifully by Nice Hacks. He'll fire away and stun the Clash over and over before Varas will finally fall off. He took about 25, just a little bit less than 25 points of damage, but still, any damage you can get on a Clash without sacrificing any of your own is good. It's progress. It might be slow, but it's progress nonetheless. You want to keep moving forward. As Japan will take a little bit of damage from himself. Zofia stuns Varas and will break the Goyo shield. And there's Japan with the opening pick onto Tom. Now that's your Bandit dead. It's one of the C4s down. Big Sexy is quick to refrag and even out the man count yet again, though, as the Clash is still harassing these players inside of Blue Tarps and by Pillar. And like you said, if PDHM can't figure out how to break this Clash, this change could be the map win for Axios.
Absolutely. It's an even 4v4 now. Usually we've seen at this point, PDHM have a very dominant man advantage here, and we're going to see Headless there. He's going to find one onto Ashes there. Varas going to get aggressive there with that PDW, but is not going to have enough there, as Nice Hacks will find the kill on him. But Big Sexy quickly refragging it to put it down to a 3v2. Challenger finds one as well, putting it down to a 2v2, but unfortunately now a 1v2 here for Challenger as William finds the kill onto him. Elsist there trying to get the plant down. The pings come out. Challenger finds one to William, and the second one on Elsist. A 3K there from Challenger will end out the map, and Axios will take it 7-4.
Wow, a 1v3 there from the Goyo. Beautifully played and beautifully isolated as well. That was wow. So I thought that round was done and dusted for PDHM. PDHM looked like they were going to take it handedly, right? 14-8 for Challenger. And you got to deal with a clash if you take out everyone around her, which PDHM was doing very well. It was a 1 versus 3, but the plant was denied. PDHM, I guess, scattered a little bit, and that allowed the Goyo to isolate those 1v1s, and some brilliant headshots hit by Challenger is going to lock out the match 7-4. The 3 rounds PDHM were able to string together, unfortunately, not coming to fruition. Both teams playing Oregon probably a bit more aggressively than we're used to. But I think with first map done and dusted, we are going to cut to a quick break while we set up the second map. Again, map number 2, Axios' pick after winning PDHM's pick, very important note, will be Consulate. A very and if Oregon was played that aggressively, I can only imagine how aggressively Consulate will be played. So we'll cut to a quick intermission. We'll be back as soon as map 2 is up and ready. Hi everyone, welcome back after that intermission. It's however short you want it to be because this is a VOD, but we're going on to map number 2, Consulate, after what appeared like it was going to be a stomp from Axios. Oops, I dropped my pen. PDHM started to bring things back in full swing. It went from a 5-1 to a 7-4. So still not the closest game, but I think PDHM can be proud of the comeback they attempted. Of course, not proud of the fact that they went down that far to begin with. And Axios have won PDHM's map pick, and now we go on to Axios's map, which is Consulate.
Yeah. So I think probably the biggest thing about Consulate that we need to be looking for, and it's something you hear all the time, the windows. Good lord, there are so many windows on that map, and with Axios starting on attack once again, I'm going to be interested to see where it goes, because they were so aggressive on the attack on Oregon. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get into this here with the bans coming out here. PDHM starting us off.
The bans last map were very normal, I guess with the exception of Wamai, but even then Wamai is not like a completely out there ban. I would assume we get the average, like maybe Thatcher, Nomad, Valkyrie, Mira. There's Thatcher.
Probably.
One.
Knowing these teams and how they like to play aggro, I would assume likely the Nomad is going to be the next one banned off.
Nomad.
Yeah.
And
no, it's a Maverick.
Okay. We'll stick with Maverick. So Nomad is still up.
Yeah, that is interesting to say the least. I think that's potentially because Axios likes playing Nomad, but we did see PDHM get a lot of use out of it last time, so I'm interested to see that they didn't ban it so far.
And the first defensive ban actually gonna be Maestro. So one of the trio, the big trio, Mira, Maestro, Echo, and actually all three of them are gonna be off the board. Mira and Maestro being the bans, and Echo auto bans. So this is one of the rare Consulate games where both Valkyrie and Nomad are still on the table.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see both of them still on the table, as they're very commonly banned on this map, and I'd like to see if we actually get some use out of them despite them being unbanned. And it doesn't look like so far we will, but the 6-pick phase is still yet to happen.
I would be surprised, especially this being the top floor site, and no, it's actually going to be Mute. So one of the sites where both Valkyrie and Nomad tend to get like some of the most play, because so much of this site revolves around the rappel and the suicide balk, and you know, really the only way you can get info on that is the Valkyrie, and because so much of the attack is on rappel, you get the Nomad to stop the runouts that you're very vulnerable to, and neither of those operators are going to be played.
Yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. I'm kind of wondering how Axios is going to play this. It kind of looks, from their operator loadout, it seems we're probably going to be seeing an admin take. It's one of the most common ways you see this take. It is a push through admin, as well as a push up Visa stairs and spiral to help supplement it. And that looks like the way it's going, but even so, a Nomad would still be very useful preventing the rotates from spiral up Visa, the pushes out from meeting room. I'm interested to see the way Axios takes this despite not having it, but it does look like they're going to be that typical aggression that we see. They're going to go ahead and make quick work and get on into admin within the first 30 seconds of the round.
Yeah, that might be why they're not taking the Nomad, because they've got a gridlock, and when you take from admin, you're not really as dependent on that flank watch as if you were attacking console, because console there are so many spots that you can, there's like 3 different windows you can, or 3 different entryways that you could run out of on those players. But once you're doing an admin take, a lot of times 4 out of 5 of your players are inside the building, so
yeah,
that flank watch isn't as big of a deal. Of course, you can place, tracks outside as well. A lot of people put tracks on the suicide balk, tracks by like the piano windows or by main lobby, stuff like that. And it's pretty average take. The only thing I'm worried about is nice hacks playing on this doorway, but Japan is going to get even more aggressive, pushing up long, takes out Varas. Varas, the entry, unfortunately being the entry death more than the opening kill. And Nice Hacks will take out Tom before Big Sexy trades. You lost Smoke. He's at least trade back Ash and Hibana. But still, if Axios can, you know, do their best to even out this Mankind advantage, that Smoke might hurt in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Smoke being that late round plant denial is someone you want to live as long as possible. In the same vein as the Maestro or Clash, you want them to be as live as long as they can be, because their utility becomes most useful later in the round. So having him as the first person dead on the side of PDHM could potentially hurt them. Now they do still have the C4 on the side of Elsis, which can be used as a plant denial, but I don't know. I'll still be interested to see the way that things go. Ash is here, hitting up on Suicide Balk on that rappel. Gonna very quickly drop down after making a little bit of noise up there. I'm interested to see the way they take this. They seem to be kind of abandoning admin a little bit. They're looking for maybe a push from down below. I'm interested to see the way that Axios takes this.
Yeah, I think the one thing we can say about that Smoke pick, though, is it was not their projector player. The projector player is actually Elsist on the mute. He'll be playing with the same kit, the SMG-11 and the shotgun, but also have a C4 in the pocket instead of the gas canisters. Ashes on the rappel, cutting off the rotate in connector. It's a very common position we see. Spams through the window, will light up a couple players, but no, he can't find a kill on Japan. Some very important missed shots there for Challenger, but here's the entry into projector. Ashes gets Elsist, and that player goes down. Smokes as well from Big Sexy, and he'll try and get this plant down. There's no C4 available for PDHM to try and deny as we hit 000. The swing in from the Wamai will not find Big Sexy in time. He'll get the kill, the plant's down, but still, Ashes is in a 1 versus 3, and he's stuck on the Suicide Valve. Wamai hitting the counter defuse. He's got to pop out now. He'll take out Japan. He'll take out the triple kill as Ashes does not lift off the trigger, and PDHM just feeds them to the Sophia 1 by 1. What a pop-up there from Ashes, and what a bit of a throw by PDHM. Ashes went for the counter diffuser, killed the other guy, then was like, wait, crap, I didn't kill the right dude, went back, and then Jaeger was like, yeah, let me line up for you. And they just threw their bodies away. Ashes, what a massive 4K that probably shouldn't have happened.
I am just astounded and at a loss for words as to what just happened there. I honestly have no. I mean, that's just incredible. You don't see that happen.
Defenders
That is.
bombs from being defused by attackers.
I'm just at a loss for words, and yeah. I mean that silence says it all. I have no words to describe what I just saw come out from Ashes there. So we're gonna see them head back to console offices because, I mean, honestly, PDHM had this in the bag. They absolutely had this in the bag. The plant was able to come down, but just barely. They were really on it. They had the crosses set up, but unfortunately, Ashes was just able to bob and weave through all those bullets and get the kills and finish them off just before they were able to get that plant, that counter defuse off. So I think PDHM still feel confident about their hold here, and so long as they can survive in the post plant or prevent the plant from even happening, I think they'll be fine during this next round.
Yeah, like you said, that was a really good post plant from PDHM to start off. Headless ran into projector like a headless chicken, if I may, and Ashes whiffed all his shots.
Yeah.
Headless was able to get in there, kill the planter after it went down, and was like, all right, guys, there's 2 of you, peek her on the balcony, try and hold her off. I'm just going to hop on the counter defuse right there. He got on it immediately. There was no delay, and then there was no cover.
Yep.
His teammates just unfortunately died. Kind of left him hanging. So PDHM, I guess they're confident they can do it again, but Ashes is looking to shut down any chance of that happening early. Japan, one of the big players from last round, he got a 2K, but he won't have any impact here, as not only is that him going down first, but that is the Legion going down in less than a minute. 2 goo mines max, as Varos is traded out, but losing your Ash for your Legion very early on like that, that's a slight advantage to Axios.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's more utility off the board there that Axios no longer has to worry about, especially late round. That's another big thing. But Nice Hacks there is going to get a run out there onto Ashes on Suicide Balk. Such an influential player is going to get hit so hard. And Ash is going to throw the yikes in chat there, as he was not prepared for that whatsoever.
You know what could have stopped that? a Nomad.
Absolutely.
Stop that. But there's big on the trade. The Super Shorty comes out and shuts down Nice Hacks. And again, okay, Zofia and Ash for Smoke and Legion.
Yeah.
Two of your most important late game
no.
ops, but wow, okay, Elsys just gonna pre-fire over towards the Suicide Balk and get Challenger. Suicide Balk, I guess, aptly named, as two attackers have thrown away their lives on it. Tom going ahead and trying to open the long wall to expose Elsys' position, but it's shot out by that shield player. The Wamai doing good work on his due diligence protecting his mute. And now Axios in a bit of a stall out. Big Sexy out of track stingers, but he's still got the smokes in pocket. He's got to worry about the Jaeger, though, if those ADSs have not been cleared. Tom, the one who holds the diffuser this time, not the gridlock, but they have not cleared out Elsys. Again, that all-important projector player with the shotgun. Long angle held by Big Sexy, won't find anything, but the pre-fire will. Actually, no, I thought he was down. He actually just hit the prone. William from Spiral takes out Tom, and it's all Big Sexy. A 1v3 for Axios, but this time, it's not post-plant. Creeping around on the other side of the long desk is the Jaeger, and he'll quickly go pounced upon. Actually, he took out William in that fight. I don't know how, but Headless was there for the refrag. That's all that matters. PDHM will go console, and second time's the charm. They'll even us out 1-1.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was expecting. I mean, Axios got very, very lucky during that last round, and PDHM, other than that very, very large misplay during the last few seconds of the defuse there, they really had it. They had that site down and locked. So I definitely felt like the PDHM were probably going to end up taking this round. And now we're going to be moving down to Cafeteria Garage, the basement site, and this is where we're going to see the true test of Tom's Thermite. This with no Thatcher on the board. This is the true test of a Thermite, is running the gauntlet of Garage against. Actually, no, there is no Bandit. There's just a Cade. This could actually be a lot easier, but Japan has been a very, very, very apt Cade so far. He's been very, very good about his placement and his timing with it as well. So we'll see if Tom is able to counter it in any way.
Actually, I think before the Cade was played by William.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was William was doing well on the Cade. Now we'll see how Japan fares, because you can still Electro Claw the wall. There's no Maverick.
10 seconds left.
So you can't Maverick trick it open, as he's banned, and there's no Hibana, so it's just the Thermite. You take out one exothermic charge, and you have crippled the attack. There's nothing else for you to fall back on. So would definitely be looking towards Japan for that. So they've also brought Goyo. Normally the setup with the Goyo is you put it in between the white van and the black car. Usually, sometimes even like on either side of the black car or on the other side of like white van as well. So. That just serves to delay the attackers even more. You combo that with barbed wire and with the smoke and C4, you can effectively shut down, however heavy a push the attack throws at you. But it seems like we have a top clear from Axios. Veros already upstairs being guided by Tom, and Challenger going up there as well, doing a bit of a top-down take, making sure they can take control of Piano, as Big does have the Super Shorty. He can go to work on that, or if anyone else on the attack has breaching charges, they can kind of substitute in for the lack of a buck or a sledge.
Yeah, so the biggest thing here is going to be clearing out the player inside of bathroom. I think that's going to be the biggest caveat that Axios has to deal with, because if they deal with the player inside a bathroom, then it's going to be very easy for them to get that vertical control onto site. And when playing here, that's one of the biggest things. And it looks like the player from bathroom is already rotated back down.
I think the guy in bathroom was actually the guy who looked like he was in bathroom because of the silhouette was actually Circle Desk, and he hopped down the cubby hatch. But wow, a flank up yellow by Nice Hacks. Nice Hacks has been playing such an aggressive smoke so far this game, and so far it'll work out. Challenger goes down, a good frag there, but quickly pounced upon by Veros. IQ for smoke. With the operators on the board for the defense, the loss of the IQ isn't that huge. Really all you're losing there is the G8.
Yeah.
So I think losing the smoke is again going to be more of a detriment to the defense. Tom will take out Japan, and there's the Kaid we were talking about, not being able to deny the wall, nor any presence with his gun, unfortunately for him. The Jaeger is retaking the top floor, though, peeking down, trying to pounce on anyone who might not be paying attention to above them inside a Piano. But here's Veros. looking to cut him off if he ever tries to make his escape. William looks like he wants to jump down the hatches. There is no one currently inside of Piano. Everyone is either, I believe, yellow stairs, Big Sexy is over by Spiral, and everyone else is outside the breach, if I'm not mistaken. For Ashes is over by Bathroom. I think Ashes might still be on the middle floor. Yeah, he is. And nope, William unfortunately looks away at the wrong time and won't catch the Zofia. 22 seconds left, though, and Axios have to make this push into the garage happen soon. Tom, the man with the diffuser, but there's the Jaeger going down by Big Sexy, who's just standing in the middle of Circle Desk, cutting off that flank route. The Goyo also goes down to Big Sexy. The Gridlock with a big impact. Refrag by Elsis, but a 1v3 for the Doc, and now post-plant. The post-plant on the garage is one of the most difficult post-plants in the game, as you can just hold long angles all the way from outside. And there's not a lot of intel for the defense to go off of because there's no Valkyrie. In fact, no intel ops on the board, except for default cams. And it's just a swing from White Van, the planter, to collect the last kill, and Axios will take round number 3.
Yeah, and so far, they look to hold this down very well. They really, they were very, very good in taking this out. They were able to clear out the roamers, and they got vertical control very, very quickly. They did lose Challenger, unfortunately, to Nice Hacks, but it didn't seem to impact them that much, despite Challenger playing a very, very influential operator there of the IQ. I mean, I would assume, especially on a site like this, you want to get rid of as much utility as possible with the IQ, and it looks like they were able to do that as Thermite was able to get the wall open, but they did lose Challenger early on, and you are losing the G8, but still, Axios had a firm hand on the site, despite PDHM looking to kind of be pushing their way back.
That was very impressive there towards the end by Axios. It got kind of down to the wire, but I really like how
Attackers have located a bomb.
when they got enough picks and knew there were only 2 men left, they abandoned Piano.
Yeah.
They had it all open, and they were just like, we don't need to be here anymore. It looked like they knew the flank was coming out from William because Varas was holding it very firmly, and Big Sexy had the cross from Circle Desk, and they just booked it, and they just wanted to focus on the plant. And Big Sexy there with a huge flank through cafeteria, picked off 2 people, and it was all up to the Doc 1v3 post-plant garage with both walls open. That's not the position you want to be in as the defender.
Absolutely.
That's nearly unwinnable unless you're hitting some crazy shots.
I mean, it is a Doc as well. I mean, you've got the MP5 with an ACOG on it. If there's anyone that's going to be able to do it, it was definitely going to be the Doc, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to. So they're going to be heading back down here, looking like pretty much the same loadout coming out here, except for no Maestro, and instead they've decided to bring a Castle here.
Well, they didn't have Master's banned. They had Goya.
Oh, they had a mute, my mistake. But it looks like Else is bringing out that Castle, try and slow down the attackers as much as they can, similar to the way that Axios was trying to do back on Oregon. Shut down the aggression of Axios as quickly as you can, and you can potentially have it. And the same way that Axios had to deal with PDHM, so we'll see if that ends up working out, if the adjustment of the Castle is enough for PDHM to pull out the round and even it out.
The only thing though is you got breaching charges on the IQ, and you've got Zofia and Ash. So if they use their utility properly and are conservative enough with it, those Castle barricades are, sure, they're absorbing the utility, but you don't really have a lot for the attackers to destroy with those projectiles. Anyway, you don't have a Goyo, there's no Maestro. So it's kind of like, I don't know, unless the Castle barricade is in a very important spot and you take out those players first, and then, like, let's say, you know, one of the attackers, like Gridlock or something, is stuck facing a Castle barricade, yeah, that can be a round winner. But again, that's very situational, as the Piano control yet again comes out from Axios with a minute and a half left. They're going to try and get this vertical control, use it to their advantage, see if they can get any free picks, and facilitate that entry into the site. A prone angle actually nearly hits Varas from security, I believe, but there we go. Breaches coming down from Tom, a very quick opening of the wall. That's interesting. He kind of does it more towards the middle, so there's less of a chance that a defender can long arm. I kind of like that from Tom.
Yeah.
There's actually no strip in the middle, so he leaves a little bit of the left portion up and takes away that middle pillar as Varas gets the opening frag on a nice hacks. And again, the smoke falling very early.
Yeah, I mean, that is something we're seeing as a trend here. As Nice Hacks, he's playing very aggressively. He is the entry on He's the entry on attack, but he seems to be translating that role to defense, whereas he's told us that he shifts his role more to a flex of support operator. And he's playing very, very aggressively, and that seems to be working against him nearly every time because he's playing an operator that is very influential late in the round, and we see Elsis as well going to be taken down by Big Sexy, who's in the site, going to pull up a shotgun at just the wrong time as we see the swing come out there from Japan. Actually, headless, my mistake, as he takes down Big Sexy and Ashes. And from inside security, Japan, actually from pipes, my mistake, is able to take down Ashes, and what looked like an Axios round turned very, very quickly back in the hands of PDHM by Japan and Headless.
That gridlock got one kill and pushed a little too far, bit off more than she could chew. There was a Kaid in pipes, and Big was watching long haul, like the security hall. She just had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, unfortunately.
pulled out the shotgun and died immediately. That was unfortunate. Headless got a big 2-piece there. And PDHM, luckily this time, winning their fights. I don't know how much the castle helped with that. Maybe it prevented a proper push from Big Sexy towards the back. I think Big Sexy may have just pushed up like White Van or something. That could have prevented him from actually going like archive side, coming through the cafeteria doorway and establishing more control into security, and having less angles to worry about and maybe a little bit more direction. So that could have been an influence, but still that breach push just did not go well. They got full countered by the swings from PDHM, and it's 2-2. So far, Consulate being a lot more even than Oregon was, but it's still Axios' map pick, and we have yet to see something consistent from PDHM that makes me convinced that they're going to take us to map 3.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, though, the first basement attack, they seemed to be kind of all over the place, and Axios had a chokehold on the round. Although, the times that they've come here to console office, there was one bungle of the post plant, but other than that, they seem to know the site very, very well. So I think they can definitely push it up to a 3-2. Now, whether or not they can push this up to a 4-2 heading off to their third site, that is still yet to be seen. It seems almost like they need a round to adjust to how Axios is playing. And if that's the case, we may likely see this go to an even split half, a 3-3. And on defense, I'm wondering how Axios will end up playing it.
Something else I think which is pretty interesting is these teams on Oregon were very hesitant to go to a third site. It seems to be repeating itself for PDHM as they have only played console and garage through the first 4 rounds. Now, of course, they don't really need to go to a third site, but maybe it would be advisable, kind of throw Axios off a little bit. You're 1-1 on both your sites so far. Maybe, take a chance, go lobby, go archives tellers. People have been pulling out archives tellers and winning it pretty handedly. As Ashes is already down to 1 HP, I think, from the C4 of William. So Ashes, the big player on the one round when Axios did have on console, is now going to be very, very vulnerable in those kinds of fights on Suicide Valve.
Yeah, so the biggest thing I'm wondering here on the side of on the side of PDHM is if they end up winning this, like what third site are they going to go to? I mean, they were very hesitant on it. You're right, they don't have to go to that third site, and I mean, there's good potential to take a chance, but William there, he's just going to go ahead and run out and get a nasty kill there onto Challenger. Elsis follows up with one onto Ashes, finishing him off down at 1 HP, putting it down to a 5v3. Technical 4v3 there as Japan is down, but will be quickly picked back up. And already, it's not looking too good here for Axios as there's another kill that comes out from Elsis there onto Varas, putting it now down to a 2v5.
Yeah,
Axios is kind of struggling here, and with the smoke up on the board, it's going to make things a lot harder for Axios. This is the impact that we have not seen from Nice Hacks yet. Another smoke that comes out, forces Big Sexy off, and he will almost be finished off, will be downed, leaving it all up to Tom here. Basically a 1v5, unless he manages to find his way over to Big Sexy to get the revive.
Yeah, and he doesn't have time for that, and it's just going to be through the floor. Japan, who decided he was going to go downstairs at the tail end of the round and clean up what he could, will finish us out after getting, I believe he was previously down. He got picked up. And like you said, PDHM, despite that slight blunder, did seem like they know how console works. And Axios, unfortunately, were even more hesitant to attack that time than the last. No crossfire established in long haul onto the player in projector. Nice Hacks was allowed to play there perfectly safe. And I think you mentioned it as well. Didn't throw his life away as the smoke. He stayed alive. We saw his impact. You know, a smoke alone can just completely shut down that projector doorway and say, no, you can't push through here. And there was no manpower to go over to Suicide Balk to try and take that smoke out. There was no time for the hit monitor or the gridlock. That was very well played by PDHM. And of course, that run out to start things off, killing that Suicide player Challenger. So 3-2, PDHM are going to lead, but now for the first time on Consulate, they will be forced to a third site. And it'll be Lobby, which curiously enough, they will be holding without the aid of an ACOG.
Yeah, and that is definitely interesting. They're not playing without an ACOG, because usually you'll see that played inside of meeting, looking down and covering the default plant spot, and being able to look out onto the entrance stairs. But with none being played, I'm guessing we'll likely see either Nice Hacks or William playing that. Probably Nice Hacks, as he'll be able to toss his smoke nades down through the slats in the floor, able to prevent that default plant from going down. And he's been no slouch with the SMG-11 either, so we'll likely see him playing there. But it does look like they're going for an admin take onto this, which will put very early pressure onto him sitting up in meeting.
Yeah, this is the average take we see. Again, top down is kind of how Consulate works. So you're going to see them take their admin, try and flush out these players' projector, maybe even extend themselves all the way to console. If there's any defenders lurking on that side, just so they can have control of the other bomb site as well. So Axios, you know, not doing anything strange so far. The smoke still upstairs, I think, is a little bit curious. A lot of times when I see a mute and a smoke together, it's the mute upstairs while the smoke will play by like bathroom, just so he has a little bit easier access and less exposure to the front door, and he'll play with the shield and just, you know, throw out gas grenades at his leisure. But he'll be playing in the shield inside of projector instead, as he'll take the fight close against the doorway, but from the rappel upside down. Unfortunately, those lifelines deafened him, and he did not hear the window break. Big Sexy gets an all-important first frag, and again, Hacks down first as smoke.
Yeah, and once again, this is where we've talked about constantly is losing a late round operator so early on, and being the opening pick as well is what you do not want to see, because all of his utility was in the back pocket. He got no use out of his smoke nades whatsoever. And with him dead, Axios now have full control of top floor. Now, they don't know it just yet. They are clearing out bathroom, making sure that there's no one sitting inside looking to rotate back up. But they have full control of top floor now, and do with that what they please, with a minute still left on the board.
A little bit worrying, but they'll take control of above piano, so they can shut down both bomb sites, or at least crosses through both bomb sites if any defenders decide to rotate. This challenge is now over by, or Challenger is over by Visa. He can effectively lock off Jungle and Spiral should any defenders wander their way over there. Varas nearly an angle on someone in the antechamber, but doesn't check it enough, isn't as thorough. But still, breaching charge is coming out, and that'll just aid the attackers in preventing the defenders from moving where they want to. Challenger, speaking of, cutting off Z will get a little bit lit up, but there's Tom with the diffuser, and because of the angles held by the attack, there's really nothing the defense can do about it. Japan will get a frag on a Challenger, though, on the flank. Big Sexy on one, Tom with another before there's the Wamai. Wamai could potentially go for this counter diffuse. He knows there's someone in the hatch, though, but Ash will take out his support. It's 1 versus 3, all left up to him, but from jungle, I believe it's Varas. And Axios take round number 6. Very, very good use of the top floor. And after that plant went down, there was nothing the defenders could do to counter it. And one by one, they just got traded out.
Yeah, so once again, we are seeing that these rounds have come down to nothing but kills. There have been plants in 3 of the rounds, but and actually looking at it, every single round that has that Axios has won, there's been a plant during that round. So this is it's definitely been looking good. So Axios, as long as they could get the plant down, they could win the post plant. But now we're switching over to PDHM on attack. We'll see how this goes. Now Axios are opting not to go console office first, but instead heading down to basement.
Yeah, and PDHM are going to read that. They're going to take the thermite.
Now we did see them bringing a thermite pretty consistently, or at least some sort of hard breach on Axios pretty consistently. I think this is just they're just bringing hard breach to bring hard breach, and their preference is thermite here. Is what I would have to guess, especially since they're bringing the Nomad as well. Nomad is most useful. I mean, she still has quite a bit of use, but is most useful on those top floor takes. I would argue. Yeah,
but of course she's still good.
She still has use everywhere.
I think something else that might be hurting Axios that we have to highlight is, unfortunately, Challenger's 0-6. Yeah. The man who started Oregon off with an ace has cooled down quite a bit. He might be dragging his team behind him. If we saw Challenger waking up a little bit, those rounds that they've lost at least could have been closer, or even won if he was able to get his pick. So unfortunately, he'll definitely be looking to get on the board. The UMP not exactly the best gun to do it with, but hopefully he'll find something on the defense. We never like seeing players underperforming that much. But
I definitely think Challenger's a flex player. I think he definitely has some potential there with the castle. And seeing the way that he played on Oregon, as well as here on Consulate, I think he definitely has some solid potential to do some good work with the castle. It's just going to come down to a matter of will he or won't he. We do see Ashes here playing a very aggressive top yellow here, but he's going to go ahead and rotate down as he's droned out multiple times, as well with Veros there holding back behind him.
So within a minute, PDHM are able to take the top floor. Pretty good timing so far, considering this is a garage defense. And they'll likely turn that into vertical control next. Now they are bringing the sledge, which strangely Axios were lacking. They lacked any sort of soft breach, save really breaching charges in the super shorty on the gridlock. So PDHM might have an easier time taking control of those angles downstairs. It's going to be William on that roll, just clearing out, making sure circle desk is all good. But there's someone still in antechamber, and I don't know if they know this. Ashes is holding the corner tight. Okay, no, they know there's someone in bathroom. So Big Sexy is there, but no, they actually don't know about Ashes. And 2 is going to come off the Jaeger with I almost called him Vanos. With Veros taking out William on the sledge. And just like that, 3 picks the way of Axios, all on the roam. The Legion inside of Piano finally gets refragged by nice hacks, but might be a bit of a Pyrrhic victory as Diffuser is still out of their control. Still a 2-man disadvantage held by PDHM, trying to rotate into bathroom.
Oh, no.
He turns his back to face the shots that came, but exposes himself to Big. And now it's all on Headless, who unfortunately was stuck on a Goomon. C4 tries to capitalize, but does not find anything. But with 35 seconds left, he'll have to find a 4K. Things not looking good. Axios are itching to take this first round on the defense. We might just see Headless maybe just chill out. I would imagine he's just going to chill out. Take this chance to talk with your team, kind of like an impromptu tactical timeout. It's never not useful, especially when you lose an attack like that. That was preventable.
It absolutely was, but it looks like we're going to see him just go ahead and run on in with his pistol there, as there's 5 seconds left of the round. Not much you can do. Big Sexy there are going to go ahead and finish it off with 2 on the round for him, and Axios are going to go ahead and push themselves up to a 4-3 lead. This is now the second time they've had a leading edge over PDHM, and it's been 4 rounds since they've seen that lead.
Yeah, it's I still like that round could have been so avoidable.
Yeah, Ashes was just not droned out at all. I mean, there was
And
no intel on him.
neither was the Legion inside of Piano. Like
Mhm.
the Sledge tried to refrag and swing on the Jaeger and got killed by the cover. Who was playing the Thermite? Was it
I believe it
Elsis?
was Elsist. Yeah,
It was
it was
Elsis.
Elsist who was playing the Thermite. He's been usually the one to stick on the hard breach.
Yeah, because it was headless last map. It's been Elsist at least so far through
Defenders,
the
protect
first
your bombs
the
from
first
being
round.
defused by
Mhm.
attackers.
Now we see them heading up to console office. Now, this is the site that we have seen Axios. They've struggled attacking it. They only were able to win one attack on here. Every other time they lost to PDHM, and PDHM showed that they really know how to hold this site. Now we're going to see the inverse. Does PDHM really know how to attack this site, and are Axios going to fare better now that they're on the defense? And it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a yellow stairs hold as Big Sexy is setting up for sitting inside of the bathroom, opening up that rotate there to the top landing. We'll see if they have that shield set up in the doorway as well to kind of have kind of a hybrid hold between the two sides.
Attackers are moving
And we'll
out to
see
locate a
how
bomb and
PDHM looks to take this.
Again, I keep seeing Varas's name, and I want to call him Vanos.
It happens.
Hi. I think something interesting as well is, speaking of Varas, he's on Pulse. He's going to be lurking downstairs, likely inside of Archives, where he is now below Visa, below Admin, calling out the push for his team. Because, you know, the advantage of that is, of course, you know, you can sit there and scan, you can tell your team, okay, they're doing an admin push, and if you sit there for 30 seconds and see nothing, you know, knowing where the enemy is not is just as important as knowing where they are. So
Absolutely.
you can also play for that C4 from below if he's not hunted down by Japan on this IQ, who I think has been playing more for the G8 than the utility so far this match. Despite the Valkyrie still being up, we have not seen either team run her in 8 rounds so far, which is definitely strange, considering PDHM were not shy to the Valkyrie on Oregon, but on arguably her better map,
bomb
she has
located
not
by
seen the
attackers.
light of day.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting as well, PDHM has been the only team that so far that's brought Nomad. Axios had every opportunity to, and there was even one time where that Nomad would have been incredibly useful. I mean, Challenger was killed by a run out there from Nice Hacks early on in one of the rounds, or a Nomad would have very easily prevented that. So yeah, I think it's interesting to see that PDHM is playing it where Axios is not necessarily as much of an aggressive team, though, as Headless finds the very first kill there onto Big Sexy, and Ashes falls very quickly after by William Varos. They're able to get the refrag, as well as Challenger finds one, bringing it down back to an even 3-on-3. C4
The
comes
pulse
up.
is still up. Yeah.
Ooh.
I was gonna say even man count, but Varas is still downstairs. You have not dealt with him, and that's gonna result in the death of the IQ. The player who is usually tasked with hunting that player down will unfortunately bite the dust. Wamai just slinging out even more magnets to burn more utility and just annoy the attackers even more. As there we go, all the flashes will be eaten up. Headless and Elsist have one doorway to push through. The sprint coming in from the Hibana, not capitalized upon by the defense, but Varas is still below. Still call out for his team. Headless will get the kill onto Tom, leaving just one player upstairs, but no! Through the hatch, Elsist exposing himself. You gotta be aware of that angle. Your teammate got C4'd from below, and you're still gonna expose yourself to the hatch. And Headless, who tries to get the refrag, will get killed by Challenger, who's just sitting over by Long. And if I'm not mistaken, that might be Challenger's very first kill, and a big
his
triple.
second kill. He was
His
able to get
second
one
kill,
early
okay.
on in the round, so that, yeah, he's now up. He's now up with 2 kills. He's slowly starting to warm up.
Oh, he is. And a massive triple kill for Varas. Just
Yeah,
downstairs,
absolutely.
never dealt with.
Yeah.
I don't even
Which-
think he was 6-pick too.
No, he wasn't. The
Yeah,
pulse was
so-
known, and they did not deal with him at all. And I think that's probably the biggest oversight at the side of PDHM. I mean, just seeing how impactful it was, and now we're actually going to see him 6-picking off of the pulse and bringing out the Legion, likely thinking that they were going to 6-pick off of the Alibi. But I think the Alibi is an interesting pick here on the side of Challenger, especially somewhere like Lobby, where there's often a lot of vision from outside and from a large distance as well. So this could give an advantage to Axios if PDHM is very liberal with their bullets and opening things up. They could get very easy pings onto the members of PDHM if they're careless in how they shoot.
Alibi also just kind of, a lot of times you just take her for her kit. She's got a good gun. She's got a
The
shield.
MX4 is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She's got a shield, which you can combo with the Wamai very well and leave your players a little bit safer either by bathroom or upstairs. You've got the bailiff for reconstruction. So, you know, she's pretty good just as a good fragger.
Absolutely.
Challenger, unfortunately, not having a great day or a great map as a fragger so far. Again, was on a heater in the last, but has not really found his footing on map number 2. But maybe Alibi is the operator to do it. 3-speed, good gun. You know, it's everything you could ever ask for. Where is he? He's not upstairs.
It looks like Challenger. Yeah, Challenger is playing inside the bathroom here. I think this is. I think this is a good position for him. I think he's just trying to sit here and wait things out a little bit. I think so long as he sits here and he isn't spotted by drones, he could have some really big impact later on in the round. See Nice Hacks here taking some shots there towards bathroom. It looks like Ashes is looking to aggress on him. Ping's coming out to someone sitting on top of yellow stairs, but it doesn't look like they know anyone is inside of meeting room or inside of connector as well. The push looks to be coming out here from Headless. Is going to spray onto one inside of connector. The swing comes out from one at the top of Visa stairs here. Going to take a lot of health off of Headless, but not going to be enough to take him out just yet.
Yeah, that was Big Sexy with the shotgun, but speaking of, William is there with a shotgun of his own to shut down that mute inside of Projector. Projector hold's not really going well for either team. There's one for the Zofia, a trade back for the Legion, but William onto him before he's refragged himself by Tom. And after the dust settles, we're at a 3 versus 2. Headless and Nice Hacks both very low on HP, but top floor control established. Challenger and Tom are going to have to go big here if they want to get their team this map point, as Challenger is going for this upstairs flank. Again, with a very good gun and a very good kit, he could make it happen, but they know there must have been a drone on that, as Nice Hacks will just rip his head off. That's all Tom, and a 1 versus 3. Again, 2 players lit up, and with the AUG, that just makes them even easier prey, but he'll get the hell out of bathroom. He knows that with his position slowly being encroached upon, he's a dead man walking. So he'll fall back to yellow. Hug the soda machine, peeking over towards Spiral, making sure there's no one there. But as the plant starts to go down, Elsist will hop off it and collect the final kill. PDHM will again draw us even closer to even map count. We're at 4v5. Or 4-5.
Yeah, they will break the 3-round winning streak of Axios. Unfortunately, slow down their momentum just a little bit and say, hey, take a back seat. We're not out of this just yet.
Both teams have just not been able to hold the top floor.
Yeah, no.
Except for that one round where PDHM just didn't drone, none of these top floor holds have worked out very well.
Yeah, they really haven't. So they're going to be heading back down to basement, though, knowing this is not the site to try again on. It's their off site. It's their final site they went to. This is a site that they can definitely afford to lose a round on. If they go back to basement and console and win it, they can take this map and they can take this series right here, right now. With the way the round history is shaped out before, unless PDHM make a change and Axios wins once again, I think this could be the decider for PDHM.
Garage is that, you know, when I talked about the roam not being droned, this was the site it was on. And they're taking a very similar lineup. They're going to have Big Sexy on the mute. Probably playing bathroom again. They've got the castle. Probably going to be castling off antechamber and piano again. I would imagine it's a very similar hold, as, I mean, it worked beautifully last time. Even if they don't get to explode on those attackers inside of circle, it's still a time waster, man.
Absolutely.
So all they got to do is sit up there, and even if they don't waste a lot of time, as long as they don't die, or at least take someone down with them, it's successful. With how much utility they're dedicating to that, you'd better hope you're able to do that.
Absolutely. And we're already seeing them go ahead and making this push over into admin. There is one player sitting over at the top of yellow. That is going to be Ashes there of the Jaeger. It's actually going to be sitting down inside a bathroom there to complement a top floor hold. But Ashes looks like is going to not play this very aggressively and is actually going to go ahead and start moving his way down. As we do see Headless going ahead and making headway there into Visa office.
Using the air jabs that we We missed so sorely on Axios. They were bringing the gridlock, so I mean, you don't really need to double up. Sometimes she can help too, but
yeah,
PDHM not going to be taking that. And again, like we said, same exact setup on the roam coming out for Axios, but PDHM are aware of it. They're breaking open all the windows over by Antechamber, pressure from above as well on the Big Sexy, and there we go. There's the kill you need. The Jaeger inside of Antechamber, who made such an important play last time, springing from that castle barricade that the sledge opened and killing 2 players, goes down to Will from above. A good pick by William, and that might have just opened up that Antechamber for the attack.
Yeah, and unless he's able to do, unless there's someone else able to do something big, or at least complement that hold that Big Sexy is making inside a bathroom, this may be very difficult for them as Japan and William both make the push in, but Varas is actually able to take down Japan there on the IQ as he makes that push up, gonna fall back down yellow stairs into pipes. And that is going to be a big play, taking out the IQ there. An IQ for a Jaeger, I'd say that kind of leans a little bit in the favor of Axios there.
Especially with a minute left, and now PDHM are going to be able to get to work on the floor. That doesn't really leave them a lot of time if they want to be thorough. Nice Hacks will be able to look through the drop down, as that's where the mute rotated. That's how Big got away. And because the wall is soft, they'll be able to get even more lines of sight downstairs. Challenger is off-site, though, all the way towards the archive site, looking to shut down any kind of flanks, but there we go. Electro Claw out, that could perfectly catch the exothermic charge, and indeed it will! Fantastic Kaid play from Tom, as there's Varas with his second kill of the round onto William. The last exothermic charge, though, will be successful. They have some kind of headway into sight, but there's pings coming out. A pre-fire lands. Sexy onto Elsist as well. It's a 1v4, all up to Hacks, coming from the back of the site. Can't even find Challenger, and there we go from long. It's Varas with his 3rd pick of the round. Axios shut down round 10. Again, the roam, not finding kills, but wasting so much time.
Absolutely. That was incredible. And we're just seeing it is over and over and over again. It's just kills from every single player here. We're seeing, I mean, both these teams mentioned to us, they're aggressive teams. They like to play aggressive, and we're seeing that. We have 2 members of Axios breaking double digits. A lot of people on PDHM are coming very, very close to that. And this is the deciding round. They're going to be heading back up to console, and PDHM has to make a change. They have to pull things back together, or this is it. They will get pushed back down to 3rd place in their group, and Axios will play the winner of Oceanus and Windforce to determine who will be in 3rd place for CACF.
Yeah, and so far it looks like that 3rd place team, at least in Group B, might just be PDHM unless they're able to take console, which unfortunately they failed to do, as the Pulse was left alone. And they're bringing him again. Varas, who was having a bit of a slow game on Oregon, has woken up. He is the only man on double digits. Actually, no, him and Big, both on double digits. I mean, that last round too. We also got to give props not only to Varas for getting those frags, but Tom with the Electro Claw.
Absolutely.
Like, PDHM, I think, still had like an inkling of chance.
Absolutely.
That Electro Claw trick just took all that away. That was very well played from him. He was like, okay, they spent so much time upstairs. They've been ignoring the breach. I just throw out my Electro Claw. Now I hear them dropping outside of the garage. I'm getting the call, whatever. Bam. And it was absolutely perfect. And for some reason, even though there was a player up in piano, they didn't deny it.
Yeah. I mean, that was the play. They took care of, PDHM took care of top floor control so handedly, and it seemed like they were going to be able to take it top down. They had top floor control all in their hands. They were getting the breach open. Tom just said no. Tom just said, no, I'm going to throw this out, and I'm going to prevent you from getting in, and that's exactly what he did, and he did it so very well. We're seeing nice hacks here on the upside down rappel on Suicide, already trying to challenge inside of meeting. Big Sexy taking just a bit of damage there on the mute instead of the smoke this time.
I wonder how that's going to impact them, because last time the smoke, every time we've seen the smoke, actually live in these matches, both teams have played kind of an aggro smoke. Every time we've seen the smoke actually live to the end of the round, he's been very impactful. So let me just see how Big translates that into the mute. with the C4, I mean, he's got the same kit, of course. You know, that corner is very easy to hold, and you got the SMG-11 shotgun. It'll actually drop off, I believe, down the hatch, and he'll play in bathroom, and might even be going for a C4 from below along with Varas. But there is someone outside the main door to deal with that. This might be the change that PDHM need. They'll have someone watching Circle Desk. I think it's Japan on the IQ, judging by the silhouette. And the G8 holding that angle is a very difficult thing to fight. If the defense, especially if you don't completely know where he is. And yeah, it is going to be Japan. He's watching the hatch like a hawk as well, waiting for that pulse. And there we go. There's Big Sexy swinging. He'll lose the fight, but doesn't expect the second. And that's going to free up Varas to go for that big play downstairs. And if he's not dealt with, that's an easy plant denial as Ashes finds Hacks, and he'll actually just go for the sprays as he's already used his C4, curiously enough. So the pulse maybe not going to have as big of an impact, but there's Challenger on another one, and even though he doesn't have the C4, he's still able to call out intel. A refrag there from William, 2 for William as Tom takes out Elsis. It's a 1 versus 2. He's got 1 upstairs, 1 downstairs. Varas likely calling out intel for this Wamai. The pre-fire will land William down to about 15 HP. It's all up to him to stop this 2-0 for Axios. He's got to pull the goo needle out as well, and it's just hardship after hardship, slowing him down. 15 seconds left, still the pulse downstairs and hitting the sprint. The shift W will be his demise. The pistol of Tom will secure the 7-4 victory for Axios, and they'll take the 2-0. 7-4 Oregon, 7-4 Consulate, and they will secure second place in Group B.
Yeah, that was an incredible match by Axios. I mean, early on, they seemed to be struggling a little bit up against PDHM. It really seemed like they were having a hard time dealing with how they were defending, but we saw once they got on the defense, Axios just completely and totally turned it around and were able to pull out a 7-4 scoreline. Once again, an incredible match between these two teams. I'm just astounded at what we've seen today.
Yeah, I don't think I expected that much aggression. They told us straight up, they were like, or at least PDHM were like, yeah, we tend to be a more aggressive team. We tend to like to roll with the punches. Axios were like, it just depends on who we're playing. So I guess Axios figured, better fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
2-0 for them. Like we said, they'll secure second place in their group, and they will play the winner of Oceanus Gaming and Windstorm. But that's going to be it for me and Loaf. Again, thank you so much for joining us for one of the 3 community casted Challenger League games. Again, thank you for Face It for allowing us this opportunity. Shout out to Caliber Jacob and Crater for constantly being in contact with Face It and really pushing to get this done, and for them giving Loaf and I a chance to move up from T3 into T2 perhaps. So tune in next week. Again, this is going to be uploaded, I think it'll be Saturday by the time this goes up, the 11th. Probably the VODs will be uploaded next Saturday as well. So we'll see you then. It's not going to be us. It's going to be Uzumaki and Razor. We'll be swapping out, but I believe we're actually casting, this whole crew is going to be casting the rest of the CL season, if I'm not mistaken. So again, thank you all for coming out and watching the VOD, and have a very good night.